It is so good to have you here.
Thank you so much. I love being here. Thank you.
We're just going to praise you for an hour. But the impressions are so good.
Go on.
Okay, the impressions are so good. You do Jay-Z, you do Kanye, you do Barack Obama. Okay, can you give us one now?
Well, I don't know who you want. I mean, I could definitely do this one. But, I mean, I'm a little darker. And not only that, everything's better in chocolate. So, Michelle, I've got to say it. Yeah, do you like the tan? Because I darn sure do.
You're brilliant at what you do. You have been recognized over the course of the last 30 plus years doing what you do. And I'm kind of like, are you pinching yourself every day to realize 3 Emmys? You've hosted the Super Bowl 10 times and so many other things. How are you feeling about your own accomplishments?
Only when people mention it do I think about it. And gosh, Cheryl, I got to be honest with you. I'm amazed because I didn't, despite the size and girth that you see sitting here, I didn't play football. I played basketball.
You're wearing number 42 for the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers.
And there have been a number of folks that have come to the shows over the years, men of a certain age that said, when the Dodgers left Brooklyn, I stopped watching baseball. And that's a big thing.
It was a big deal. It was a difficult time, though, right? This is during the period of segregation in the United States. No black man had ever played in the major leagues. So you take on this role, and part of it is you use humor as a vehicle.
Absolutely. The play itself, in many ways, is about that historical time period. It's not just about Jackie. It's about how segregation was dividing America.
Do you feel different? Is there, is God inside of you? Is there an energy inside of you that's different than it was before?
Oh, yeah. It totally is. It's supernatural because it's the power of the Holy Spirit that supernaturally works inside of you. It's a gift that does not come from man. It comes from God himself.
So there are a lot of young boys and young girls watching, and they do idolize your career. What message do you want to send to them about maybe the relationship between their talent and their faith?
See, if I sit here and tell you that I'm a victim, then I can't win.
Are we seeing cows? You guys take a look. We're here at Riverbend Creamery in Lincolnton, and these cows are hungry this morning. They got up bright and early. I think you said around 2 a.m. Really, really early. And so this is their second feeding of the day. They're well into their day.
TQC Life Cheryl Brayboy, who is on that horse this morning. Cheryl, we're ready for your lesson.
I'm ready too. Thankfully, JJ has given me a little preview, so I'm a little bit more calm than I was earlier today. But this is interesting to me, right? Because a lot of adults are learning to ride, maybe again. We're going to talk about that at 3 o'clock today. But for the pure beginner, JJ, what should we know first of all?
First of all, basic safety, horse safety. You have to understand that horses are flight animals and we need to expect them to act like a horse. With that being said, we use ones that are super great at their job and are calm and willing to teach.
Good. Okay, so Charlie Horse here is going to teach me as we walk,
yes,
right?
Yeah, right?
So the key as we walk, my heels are down, JJ.
Ears are down, your eyes are up and straight between his ears. You're just going to pull your core in and up.
All right.
And you're going to just relax and breathe. Just breathe and feel him move underneath you. That is why we ride. We enjoy the movement and feeling them under your seat bones.
Cheryl, what's going on?
I always wanted to join the circus. Today, I get a little opportunity to do that. We're talking about the Flip Circus in town beginning today. Alexa Vasquez is one of the owners of the circus. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Nice. I'm really happy to have you guys here. And well, as you can see, we're setting up one of our biggest acts. And I heard you want to be inside of it?
Yeah, and in just a couple minutes, I'm going to get inside the Globe of Death, you guys. Yeah, we're excited about that. I'm walking inside. Oh, boy. I'm getting nervous. Can you guys hear my heart beating?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear it? Do I just stand like this, guys?
Yeah.
You can hear it, Cheryl.
Oh, no. Do I just stand like this?
I guess they'd tell you.
Am I just standing?
Just stand still.
Oh, my gosh. They're going to bring motorcycles in.
All right, I'm standing still. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
He's coming.
Well.
Oh, boy. Be kind. Be gentle.
Seriously, stand still, Cheryl.
Okay.
Do not move.
Stand still.
Oh, they're closing the door, too. There's no escaping now because it looks like it's locked from the outside.
Okay.
Stand up straight and don't move.
Standing straight. I'm not moving.
Is this?
I'm not moving. I'm scared though. Here we go.
I'd be scared too.
Here we go.
Oh, let's see what happens.
The center. Okay. I got to get in the center.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Don't move.
Yeah, don't move at all.
We can see you. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Woo.
Put your arms down. Keep everything still.
Yes.
Oh,
Do not move.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh. Here he comes. Oh.
That's just terrifying.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive.
Do not move.
Okay, here we go. Thank you.
Don't
move. Woo! Oh man, we did it. We survived. Thank you so much. You guys, I'm coming out. I'm coming out.
Cheryl, I'm really
And
glad I'm really glad you did this first, Cheryl,
Thank you.
and got that out of the way so we know that you're
Yes.
alive. And then we can learn more about the circus
I'm alive.
next time we see you.
That was fun.
Oh.
That was fun.
You're a lot more
boy.
brave than
you guys
I am,
coming
Cheryl.
up in a little bit though. We have acrobatics coming up, some more juggling, all of the excitement of the circus. But that was a rush. Woo! Oh. Back to you. Okay. All right. I need a challenge. What do you want me to try to do?
I don't know. Can you do like a
No, I'm not
spin or
doing
anything?
that. He was going to do a triple axel, you
Yeah,
guys.
that's what I was looking for.
Not happening. I was not a skater growing up, but we did grow up on the ponds skating. The ice, at first I thought it was too slick, but once you get out, if you skated as a kid, it's not so bad. It comes back to you after a little while. Tell me a little bit about the hockey that's going to happen here. So you said you're going to have youth leagues, but what about the adults? Can the adults also play?
We do. We do have some adults that have signed up, and they have their hockey leagues that they want to come out and play. So you'll see some of that. To me, I think it's great to just be able to come out and ice skate. You know, just to bring your kids out and have some fun and ice skate, and then of course I know we're going to go there later, but the snow tubing hill is going to be a lot of fun.
Ooh, the snow tubing hill is coming up next. Kristen, I'm just going to skate around just a little bit. It's fun. I know you grew up in upstate New York. You must have skated too, right?
Love
You
ice
skated
skating.
a little bit. People in central Japan are bracing for aftershocks after a 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck near the city of Nagano this morning. Authorities there are now saying at least 39 people have been hurt and more than a dozen have been hospitalized with various injuries. The area is known for its ski resorts and was the site of the 2008 Winter Olympics. The earthquake could be felt as far away as 125 miles. Sources tell Fox News that the grand jury is unlikely to meet and render a decision this weekend and will likely wait until Monday to reconvene. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney is in Missouri with more.
The grand jury decision on whether to charge Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting of Michael Brown is expected to come any day.
Now, an update to our developing story tonight. A health scare on a U.S. Airways plane at Charlotte Douglas International keeps a plane at the gate and its passengers stuck on the plane for more than 2 hours. An American Airlines spokesman says a woman became violently ill after she stepped onto that plane. C.J. Johnson was one of the passengers on the plane, and he's on the phone right now. C.J., what was that experience like?
It was harrowing for a lot of us. We were just all trying to get to Tampa tonight. And we had a lady that she was sitting 2 rows in front of me. She got sick, and we just kept sitting at the gate. There wasn't any word of what was going on.
CJ, what a scary situation. I'm glad everybody aboard that plane seems to be okay. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see you on the other side. Good evening, everybody. I'm Cheryl Brayboy. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, a possible breakthrough in the search for a missing University of Virginia student. Police have found remains in Albemarle County, not far from where Hannah Graham disappeared.
Charlottesville police say human remains have been found in the search for Hannah Graham.
It's a big night for country music fans in Charlotte. Amanda O'Hara is in the studio with the scoop.
Tonight is a music jam-packed night in Charlotte. Coyote Joe's was rocking with a newcomer to the country music scene that you may have heard a time or two on the radio.
So if you've got the money, the sky is the limit for a VIP night in Vegas. And now there's a new option that takes your experience to another level. Matt Finn goes along for the ride. We've seen scores and scores of fans roll through BWI on their way to Tampa. And of course, they're ready for some tailgating and a big win on Saturday. Drug and alcohol addiction is the #1 health problem in the United States. Big problem here in the Carolinas. So what do you do if you or someone you love is addicted? The Charlotte Rescue Mission is on the case. Yeah, well, you are an honest artist. You speak from the heart. You sing from the heart. Talk to me about some of the difficult battles you've braved over the years, especially since 2015 when you released your first album. And what are some of the lessons you want folks to hear?
You know, there's been some amazing parts of it. You know, I've met some of the country music community are so loving, but sometimes it hasn't necessarily been like that outside of that. I'm trying to be as honest about this, but you know, I have been called the N-word at a show. I have sang in front of Confederate flags, and it's made me feel very uncomfortable, but I've still stayed because I know how important it is for people out there that may love the genre and not realize that they can love it and they can be a part of it and be accepted, and that's why I'm here. And the only way to do that is through light and through love, and that is what I'm trying to do right now.
The day was June 17th, 2015. A 21-year-old entered in the night, welcomed in by the faithful, devoted students of the Bible, grandmothers, mothers, fathers, friends. They gathered there to pray, to dig deep into the teachings of the good book. Then mayhem, shots fired. The massacre at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston seems like it happened just yesterday. I sat down with Charlotte City Council member Malcolm Graham, whose sister was there that night. So good to see you. I appreciate you sitting down and talking to me. It's been 8 years since that devastating event at Mother Emanuel AME Church, your home church in Charleston, and I wanted to check in with you to see how you're doing 8 years later.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about Charleston Emanuel AME Church, and more importantly, my big sister Cynthia. Seems like it was yesterday that we got the call that there was a major incident at Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, and obviously the first thing that I did was call Cynthia to make sure she was okay, and obviously she wasn't.
70 shots fired from a Glock 45, 9 dead, including Cynthia Graham Hurd, the sister of Charlotte City Councilman and former South Carolina State Senator Malcolm Graham.
Oh, such a long journey. Remembering the night that, again, we got the call, and actually it was not a call, it was just seen on the TV, actually, right? I was breaking a rule that Kim has, that no CNN or MSNBC in the bedroom. Yeah. And I was sneaking watching cable news, and on the crawl was shooting at Emanuel, 9 people fared dead. And so quite naturally, I picked up the phone to call Cynthia. She was my connection to Charleston. Obviously, Emanuel AME Church is a part of my family. My grandmother went there, my mom went there, I went there as a youngster, and Cynthia didn't pick up, and I said, well, she's trying to figure out for herself what's going on, and about an hour later, my niece called and said, hey, we can't find Aunt Cynthia, we think she went to Bible study. And then intuitively I knew that she was involved, because something of that nature, she would have called and said, hey, I'm okay, just checking in.
It was one of the most heinous racially motivated crimes in modern history. And it happened in this sacred space, Mother Emanuel AME Church, founded in 1816 by Denmark Vesey, former slave and free man of color. His goal way back then, to carve out an avenue for freedom, to create a safe space for the enslaved to worship and learn. Vesey's efforts at the first independent black church in the South spawned church raids in the early 1800s, the burning of the building, and the execution of 35 church members, founder Vesey among them. Today, on the heels of the modern massacre, a grim irony between past and present.
From there, it started just a roller coaster in terms of dealing with the knowledge that she had died, dealing with the knowledge that she died in such a horrific way.
Talk to me about what Cynthia meant for you in your life, what kind of person she was.
Cynthia was personable, sharp, candid. My big sister, right? My mom died at an early age, so did my father, and so upon graduating from Johnson C. Smith, Cynthia was my mother figure, not only as the big sister, and so she raised me as a young adult, there at my wedding, there at my first political contest, helping me write speeches and op-ed editorials. She was a librarian, she was a scholar, she was a writer, a researcher, and she was my best friend.
The nation watched as that event happened back in 2015. I called you, I think, shortly after that happened. I felt the devastation. I can only imagine what it felt like for you to go through something like that. It's been 8 years. How has your journey been over the past 8 years, and what lessons have you learned along the way?
We established the Cynthia Graham Purdy Foundation for Reading, Literacy, and Civic Engagement, focusing on reading literacy. That's who she was. And we did book drives for the last 8 years in Charleston. We've collected over 70,000 books that we've redistributed to child care centers and daycare centers and elementary school and preschool programs. We do a big tennis tournament that we've used to fund the work of the foundation, which is the Charlotte Amateur Tennis Championship. And then we give back to nonprofit organizations like Read Charlotte, Promising Pages.
As you heal over the past 8 years, the nation also has been going through a healing process. You mentioned that this was a racially driven event. We saw the coming down of that Confederate flag in South Carolina. We've seen Black Lives Matter. Where are we today when it comes to healing and race relations?
I'm not sure we've gotten much further down the road, right? Just 2 weeks ago, there was a race-related shooting in Jacksonville. A year and a half ago, there was a similar race shooting in Buffalo at the supermarket where 9 people died there. There were racial shootings in Pittsburgh at the synagogue, which Jewish Americans lost their lives.
So you're writing a book, which is incredible. It also can be a healing process, the process of reliving those moments. It can be a painful process as well. How has the process of writing the book been for you?
It's been healing and painful, right? Because it causes you to reflect and go backwards, to recount memories that sometimes you want to forget. And it's been helpful because it gets me to talk about things that I kind of held in. And so it's been interesting. There were some times where I just had to put it down for a while because it was just too much, right? You have to be factually correct, and you go back and read newspaper articles and autopsies reports. The title of it is called The Way Forward. And, you know, some of the questions that people ask of me and I ask of myself, we kind of address in the book, like where was God? And trying to struggle with that.
Have you found answers to that question? Where was God? I imagine that's something a lot of people can relate to when they go through tragic and traumatic events. They want to know, where is God?
Well, I found it in the meaning of Emmanuel, which is God is with us.
It is that brand of faith, slow and steady, that gives Malcolm Graham the gumption to dig out the good from a rotted soil.
We kind of sum it up by saying, hey, keep the faith, do the work.
A complicated work indeed.
That's right. QC at 3, Cheryl Brayboy takes us back in time to examine 19th century slavery through the eyes of one Charlotte family.
These Charlotte women, twins Michelle Pass and Myra Crowder and their cousin Raquel Lowe, use Black History Month to ponder their past and honor their ancestors. They are the Black descendants of a North Carolina statesman, General Matt Ransom, and Emma, an enslaved woman who worked on his Verona plantation.
To our 21st century sensibilities, this is, in fact, a complicated family history. In truth, this was a common occurrence in the 19th century. What I want to know is what exactly happened in your family.
General Matt Ransom, who was the a general during the Civil War, he had children by a slave on his plantation, Emma, who was known as Grand Emma. And one of those children, Douglas, is our great-great-grandfather. And Douglas went on to marry Nanny. And Nanny and Douglas gave birth to or had 8 children, one of which is our grandmother, Betty.
According to Johnson C. Smith University historian Dr. Carrie Peterson, the story of race in the antebellum South is a sordid tale of power and aggression.
Well, it really depends on when and where when you're talking about enslavement and relationships between owners and women and then the children that they had by those women. I mean, there's lots of evidence in communities like New Orleans, Charleston, a little bit Wilmington, North Carolina, that the owner would have an enslaved mistress that he would put up in a separate home.
Now, a century and a half later, these Black descendants of Matt Ransom are on a journey to reconcile the past.
What were the circumstances in the case of your family? Obviously, during slavery, there was an extraordinary imbalance of power.
We don't know exactly what the circumstances were, whether if it was a situationship, if you will, between a love affair with mixed race people, or was it of what the stories we've always heard of the slave master sneaking down to the slave quarters. We don't know that for sure, but what we have have heard in our history is that it was a complicated relationship.
Matt Ransom did have a legal family, a wife, Martha, and 8 children, and then there was his mixed race child, Doug.
You know, as I learn stories about Grandpa Doug, the complication of loving my Black child, do I acknowledge this Black child in the face of being a statesman in North Carolina and how that plays out.
Caught in the crux betwixt and between.
In the midst of, this very difficult situation, a nearly impossible situation, there were instances of joy.
When you say instances of joy, what exactly do you mean? And did joy even exist during slavery?
Nanny and Douglas were married at Verona Plantation.
And these were the children?
And Douglas was the child of General Matt Ransom.
This story of love and betrayal, slavery and freedom has been told for generations at the Ransoms' interracial reunions.
This was a big reunion for the white Ransoms and the Black Ransoms, and it was just a big reunion for both sides of this family that all started from Matt Ransom.
So today we are ushering in hope. Here is the story that Cheryl brings us of Drumstrong.
Each rhythmic interlude tells a story. It's a story of compassion, a story of bravery, a story of unwavering community support for those fighting cancer.
Anybody that has a heartbeat can participate. Anybody that wants to share their spirit has an outlet.
The outlet comes in the form of a drum. The organization is called Drumstrong.
We've supported many institutions by virtue of bringing drums to hospitals and camps and clinics, encouraging participation, also availing a very interesting, positive distraction from what the patient and or family is dealing with.
Scott's family knows this journey all too well. It all began with Mason.
Our son was diagnosed with osteosarcoma when he was 15, and through his cancer adventure with a compromised leg, was told he would never mountain climb, ski, or cycle. Less than a year later, he was invited to ride with Lance Armstrong in the 2006 Ride for the Roses, and yes, you ride. And he did.
From Mason's diagnosis, Drumstrong was born, raising funds, fighting cancer through this joyous sound.
That vibration circulates the drum circle, but also goes out and sends messages.
This message, a celebration. Mason, a certified music therapist now, is all grown up with a family of his own, healthy and happy.
We drum in honor of, we drum in memory of, we drum for our own fortification as needed.
And Scott Swimmer, displaying both vulnerability and bravery, wanted to share this now.
Almost a year ago, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and yeah, it's been an interesting dance. Cancer is ugly.
The crushing news triggering a full circle moment. The nonprofit Scott Swimmer created, involving drummers in 89 cities and 29 countries around the world, now bolstered him. Drums, a type of medicine for the maestro.
Yeah, it slows you down, takes the wind out of your sails. It's real.
And nearly 1 year after diagnosis, hope.
It's NED, no evidence of disease.
And the beat plays on.
Wow, Cheryl, what a story.
Yeah, Scott Swimmer and Mason and their entire family, they're such an inspiration. And the thing is, they're not keeping it here, right? They're spreading it throughout the world. And it's such a beautiful thing to fight cancer in such a big way. Welcome back to QC at 3. Boy, are we excited about this one. He is a 3-time Emmy Award-winning sports broadcaster, a legend in the CBS News world, and he hosted the NFL Today and Inside the NFL. And those are just a few of the many things James Brown has done. He is sitting to my left, the legend himself, James Brown, in the house.
First of all, I'm too dark to blush, but thank you very much for saying that. Hey, Kristen, whenever they emphasize legend, that means old.
No! It just means you're brilliant.
Okay.
You're brilliant at what you do.
Okay.
You have been recognized over the course of the last 30 plus years doing what you do. And I'm kind of like, are you pinching yourself every day to realize 3 Emmys? You've hosted the Super Bowl 10 times and so many other things. How are you feeling about your own accomplishments?
Only when people mention it do I think about it. And gosh, Cheryl, I got to be honest with you. I'm amazed because I didn't, despite the size and girth that you see sitting here, I didn't play football. I played basketball, so I had to learn the sport of football the same as I did with hockey and a few other sports that weren't big in my neighborhood that I had to cover. But, God is good in terms of if you put yourself at it and you're doing it with excellence or you attempt to, it's amazing. And I'm hugely thankful. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we're thankful too, because you are at the centerpiece of all of our lives, right? Just turning on that TV every single day and seeing you there and seeing you do what you do so well. You mentioned the beginning for you, right? Basketball at Harvard, of all places.
Wow. Yeah. And you know what? But that goes back to family. My mom and dad, God bless them, both stressed excellence at whatever you do. And they were saying it's not necessarily a matter of you being born with intellectual heft, but are you really willing to put the perspiration in? They said it was 90% perspiration, 10% inspiration, and just go at it. My mom and dad both were high school grads, Cheryl, but I love to say they had PhDs in drive and determination. And Kristen, by the way, that included having chores to do around the house every day of the week.
Look,
so
my kid has chores. I told you during the break, she's painting the kitchen as we speak. Yes. But that hard work, right, that perseverance you got from your parents, and you have been living it out in your real life every single day. How are you finding the drive, the inspiration to do what you do? You wrote a book about it, right? The Role of a Lifetime. You're inspiring other people to do what you did, but what words of wisdom would you offer to our audience today who might be watching?
Well, perhaps the seminal moment for me, Cheryl, was when I got cut by the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA. So out of that downtime, if you will, came a work ethic and a mantra that was, I will never allow an opportunity to pass me by that I was ill prepared for. So I don't give myself an opportunity to rest on any laurels. It's always about looking ahead.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes well, it makes a lot of sense to me. I you know, over the course of the many years I've worked in this business, I like to read about...
At age 25. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I wish that were the case. But I like reading about genius. And it does seem to me that you do have that kernel of genius that you've been able to really, you know, manifest in the world in what you do. So we mentioned the book, I mean, documentaries as well, right? Carnival, right? The pen relays, you've studied it all. You studied the greats in the world.
And I have. But you know what, to be brutally honest about it though, and I have studied those folks, and I was blessed to be with some brilliant classmates in undergrad. I mean, brilliant people.
Your roommate was Cornell West, hello.
And I mean, he is one of the brightest guys around, a charter member, if you will, of Mensa, and obviously not a charter member, but he is firmly there. As a matter of fact, he was over speaking at the Sorbonne over in France before as a keynote speaker. But yet he can go and hang with the guys on the street and try to motivate them. He tries to lead from behind. But what was key for me, to be brutally honest, and I have to say it wherever I go, it wasn't until I studied the Word, and my mom was the one who led the way. And I saw the impact of her strong faith in life, overcoming some significant challenges. So once I got a hold of what the Word said, and to me, that's just like playing basketball or any sport. You know, there's some key maxims that help you to improve and be excellent at what you're doing in the world of sport. You know, all truth is parallel. What's true in the natural is true in the supernatural. It is the Word that absolutely inspired me to say, you know what? There's no shortcoming if I give him the glory for it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you are an ordained minister after all, so you do.
So that's why you hear me speaking like that too. So yeah.
Right. You study the good book. You're actually in town, right? Because you're making an appearance at the Billy Graham Library, the men's dinner. You're going to share the things that have inspired you in your life, right? The walk you've been able to take. What is it about your spiritual journey that has brought you this far? And what do you want people to learn from your own journey?
By the way, you're pretty good.
Oh,
so thank you very much.
Well, thanks.
Hey, you know what, and Cheryl, I don't go around trying to beat people over the head with the Bible. There's an expression many credited to St. Francis of Assisi saying many people would prefer to see a good sermon than even to hear one. I try to model it. And I understand, just like you guys, I'm working in a secular environment, and people say, well, you got to separate the two. No. I don't separate. That is my foundation. My avocation is what I do in the broadcasting business. My vocation is about trying to model His Word and influence people in that regard. So as long as I'm focusing on that each and every day that I get up, it's going to be a good day, even with challenges that one is challenged with, and we all are. There's got to be a North Star that directs you through all of those things.
Challenges. One of the challenges many people have been facing in this country over the course of the last year, race, social justice issues. You've been in that conversation, right? You've been leading the way in many respects. You did that interview with Kyle Larson. Brian and I were talking about that earlier today.
That's
right? He said the N-word.
That's right.
And you had the first interview with him. You went there. You went deep with him.
Had to. But you know what? I saw his heart. And that's the key to our faith, is where's your heart? Many people can put on a good exterior, but what's the heart? You know, in the book of James, it talks about faith without works is dead, but God sees the heart. So with Kyle, I was excited about it because I knew that he genuinely repented from that. That was not who he was. And I said, this is not a puff piece. We have some hard questions to ask and for you to answer. But take a look at what we're dealing with in society today, in the public square. How deep is the chasm? How wide is the chasm? People are spewing vitriol at each other. They're not talking with each other. So while it is human nature to get upset at a number of things that we're seeing, we're supposed to be above the fray and implement and model truths that surpass all of that. And at the core of it is love. You know, even in the Super Bowl several years ago when my bosses had asked me to speak to that issue, I just said, even with the successful business people who run NFL teams, you're trying to find answers to things, the elixir, if you will. It's love. If you really care for somebody,
it's love.
Then they're going to perform.
It's love. Just yes or no. Baker Mayfield, Panthers, yes. Good move.
Oh, absolutely. Given the last few years of difficulty, Brian was the one who was lamenting the fact about the last few years. You know, absolutely a good move. It could be It could be a good move.
Okay. Well, we're happy about it. We're excited about it, right?
Hey, by the way, honestly, you are excellent.
Thank you. That's a real compliment. I appreciate that.
Yes,
all right, guys. Such a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
JB. All right, that's all the information you need to know. Check out his work, and I know they have.